Exclusive contract novel from Feilu Novel Network. Mysterious fantasy. People in the heavenly prison, saints Are Broken Jiangning travels through the fantasy world and becomes the master of the demon control prison. On the first day of work, I met the wife of the patriarch who was pleading for her husband. As an ordinary person, Jiangning didn't want to provoke trouble, but how could the punishment system awaken? Punishing criminals can make you stronger. However, there seems to be something wrong with this system. Every time he is punished, Jiangning will be exhausted and exhausted. So Grandmaster's wife. It's clear that adults have ulterior motives, yet they say that I seduced the imperial court to appoint officials. Contrast Saint. Please exert more force, Sir former Empress. How dare you insult our palace? Our palace will definitely kill you. Ah. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. Demon Suppressing Prison Master, Breaking the Ring and Becoming Strong. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sir. How should we deal with the group of prisoners sent today? The Great Xia Dynasty, the Demon Control Prison. Several prison guards-looking servants were respectfully gathered in front of a young man, waiting for instructions. The young man's name is Jiang Chen, and he is the new warden of the Demon Control Prison. They are the immediate superiors of these prison guards, in charge of all the affairs of the Demon Control Prison. Whether it's the appointment and promotion of these prison guards, or the life and death of prisoners in prison as long as it is in the magic prison of this town, they are the final say of the prison. It is not an exaggeration to say that the Lord of the Demon Control Prison is an undisputed existence in this Demon Control Prison. But on the side of the young man named Jiang Chen, facing the crowd of prison guards, he couldn't help but frown. The fantasy world, the Great Xia Dynasty, the Lord of the Demon Control Prison. Have I traveled through it? Jiang Chen not only furrowed his brow, but also tossed the river and the sea in his heart. He wasn't originally from this world, just now, for some reason, he suddenly appeared here. And there is also an unfamiliar memory in my mind. When he completely absorbs the memories in his mind, there will be the scene just now. Originally, Jiang Chen also felt that the master of the demon prison in this town was a person with an eye-to-the-sky-like presence. But it wasn't until he completely absorbed the memories in his mind that he realized that the lord of this demon prison was not a good job. Zhenma Prison is a place used by the Xia dynasty to imprison serious criminals, and can be considered a heavenly prison-like existence. The prisoners who can be sent here are all ruthless people who are not on the side of disaster, but have committed heinous crimes. Even in the Demon Control Prison, there were once imprisoned princesses and princesses of the Great Xia who wanted to seek power and seize the throne. Although the Lord of the Demon Control Prison has absolute authority in this Demon Control Prison. Even as long as you are strong enough and not afraid of being retaliated by fellow criminals, even if the current crown prince enters this town demon prison, Jiang Chen can directly kill him. But unfortunately, through memory, Jiang Chen knew that he was just an ordinary person without cultivation. For some unknown reason, he was able to become the master of this demon prison with his useless body. In the fantasy world, ordinary people are already very difficult to survive. And Jiang Chen, at the beginning, came to this deep demon control prison. And the official position is also the easiest to offend the Lord of the Demon Control Prison. Combined with the memories in his mind, Jiang Chen's heart had already become somewhat hopeless. As an ordinary person, even if one is proficient in human relationships and worldly wisdom in their past life, they may be drowned directly in this deep sea-like demon control prison. And just as Jiang Chen felt his future was bleak, the prison guards around him directly extinguished Jiang Chen's last glimmer of hope. The group of prisoners sent today are top-notch and of the Flying Immortal Sect in Qingzhou. I heard he committed the great crime of colluding with another country. Except for one ancestor, the entire Flying Immortal Sect has been destroyed in one pot. If the Lord were to directly execute such a serious offender, perhaps the court could still give me a credit for suppressing demons in the prison. Jiang Chen, who already thought he might not live for 3 days, couldn't help but take a deep breath when he heard the words of the prison guard beside him. First-class bulk. Our ancestors fled. If you remember correctly, the last warden of the demon control prison was because he offended the cruel people in the prison. When I left the demon control prison to visit my family recently, I was defeated and turned to ashes by a powerful Taoist in the palace realm. On my first day in office, do you want me to handle the entire first-class sect? And their ancestors also pointed out that they may be staring at the side of the demon control prison. If I really deal with this flying immortal sect myself, I'm afraid the next person to be dealt with will be myself. The patriarch is a powerful figure in the Dao Palace realm. What realm does our ancestor possess? After all, it was the first task I took on, and coupled with the fact that the Flying Immortal sect was among the top-ranked sects in the entire Xia dynasty. So Jiang Chen still has some understanding of this group of prisoners today. Because of this, Jiang Chen dare not easily deal with these people. But if I don't get things done on my first day in office, perhaps the hat of the warden of the Demon Town prison may be directly removed. Losing one's official position, as an ordinary person without any cultivation, it may not be easy to get along in this fantasy world. It's really not possible. If it's a big deal, just handle it casually. Let's just fool around with today's situation before we talk. Thinking of this, Jiang Chen gritted his teeth and then spoke. Bring the key criminals up, I will send them out one by one. As Jiang Chen's words fell, more than 10 felons of the Flying Immortal sect were taken one by one to Jiang Chen's face. Most of these dozen or so people are elderly people. Although one's cultivation may be directly dispersed or suppressed, but the aura of being in a high position for years still lingers. If it weren't for Jiang Chen wearing the official attire of the Xia dynasty and possessing the power to control the demon control prison, I'm afraid when these dozen or so people are pushed up, Jiang Chen may not be able to live in the town anymore. It should be the elders of the Flying Immortal sect. Among these dozen or so people, the leader is the most imposing, and it is Li Lushui, the current leader of the Flying Immortal sect and a powerful Taoist in the palace realm. At this moment, Li Lushui was looking at Jiang Chen with cannibalistic eyes. Obviously, although they are already in the demon control prison, they have no consciousness of being criminals at all. However, a beautiful woman by the edge of Li Lushui's water was now staring at Jiang Chen with a hazy gaze. This beautiful woman is Lu Ruyan, the wife of the leader of the Flying Immortal sect. Although in terms of cultivation level, it is far inferior to the leader Li Lushui. But that enchanting figure, coupled with those seductive eyes. Back then in the territory of Qingzhou, and even the entire Xia dynasty, I don't know how many young talents were captivated. It's not an exaggeration to say that the world is unparalleled. Especially after marrying Li Lushui, Lu Ruyan's temperament has become more mature. I am naturally seductive, combined with that mature temperament. If it were an ordinary person, being looked at by Lu Ruyan like this, I'm afraid the whole person would soon fall. But at this moment, Jiang Chen couldn't help but frown. The most poisonous woman's heart. Who knows what this young woman is thinking in her heart? I have just traveled, but I am still in this hellish mode, so I must be even more careful. Thinking of this, Jiang Chen ignored the beautiful and charming Lu Ruyan and his gaze fell on others. At present, the most important thing is to solve the problem of this group of recidivists. On the first day of work, don't strive for merit, just strive for no mistakes. However, judging from the grandeur of these people, each one is extremely terrifying. I'm afraid it's not that easy to handle. Necessary arrangements must be made properly, otherwise it will be difficult to get along in the future. And just when Jiang Chen's heart was extremely bitter. In my mind, a mechanical sound suddenly rang out. Ding! The punishment system is being activated. Ding! The punishment system has been successfully activated. Chapter 2. Madam, you don't want the sect leader to have any trouble, do you? You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Jiangning was overjoyed in her heart. My own system has finally been credited. A semi-transparent system panel appeared as soon as my mind moved. Host. Jiangning, identity. Demon suppressing prison master, realm. None, practice. None, treasure. None. Looking at the few knots under the system panel, Jiangning was not surprised at all. As for the system function, it's easy to understand, it's just about punishing criminals. As long as punishment is needed, it can become stronger. At this moment, Jiangning immediately prepared to experiment. The most essential thing in the demon control prison is the prisoners waiting for punishment. After calming down, Jiangning looked down. Li Lushui and the elders of Feixian sect are still teasing their necks. Jiangning glanced lightly, there was no expression on her calm face. With a wave of his hand, numerous forbidden formations appeared on the ground. The black chain extended from the prohibition, lifting all prisoners without moving. Subsequently, countless tools of torture emerged. The thunder and lightning whips make a sizzling sound, and every time they strike, countless currents rush into the body, stimulating the prisoner's internal organs and organs. It's not an exaggeration to say that 10,000 snakes devour the heart. The dagger condensed by divine fire can be easily pierced by even highly skilled individuals, cutting off their skin one by one. Moreover, the high temperature can instantly scorch the wound without being fatal. There are countless tools used for punishment, and even the great power of Sendai realm may not be able to bear these punishments one by one. This is the authority of the warden. As long as he is in the demon control prison, Jiangning can freely use the forbidden formation and use punishment. Already, it's time to give it a try. Li Chang, accomplice. Collaborating with the enemy in betraying the country, punished with 20 thunder whips. Jiangning's indifferent gaze casually fell on one of the members of the Flying Immortal Sect, and he spoke calmly. The latter's body stiffened slightly when he heard the 4 words, Thunder Whip 20, clearly not as arrogant as before. The Thunder Whip of the demon-suppressing prison was well known in the Xia dynasty. It is said that 1,000 years ago, there was a Tianjiao who was whipped by 20 lightning bolts, and his bones were completely destroyed and turned into useless people. The prison guards were also shocked and they heard about the criminal law. They looked at each other and understood each other's thoughts. Working in the demon-suppressing prison, they are more aware of the power of the Thunder Whip than the people of the Flying Immortal Sect. With 20 lashes, this person will not die, and there is no hope of cultivation in the future. Even if a strong person from the peak of the Dao Palace realm comes, this Thunder Whip will take off a layer of skin. When faced with powerful members of such first-class sects, they dare not use lightning whips for fear of offending them to death and being retaliated against in the future. But now the warden has spoken up, and this account will be credited to Jiangning. They just need to follow suit. The 2 prison guards immediately picked up lightning whips and greeted Li Chang. Zila. Ah. In the flicker of lightning, Li Chang's face was turned pale. No blood color. The screams made the other elders of the Flying Immortal Sect's scalp tingle and their backs cool. At the same time, their eyes towards Jiangning became even more resentful. Li Chang could still scream twice with a few whips in the front, but in the back, there was only exhaust left without intake. Obviously, the foundation has been damaged. Finally 20 lightning whips were over, and the prison guards breathed a sigh of relief and let go of the lightning whips. At this moment, everyone in Feixian sect had a solemn expression, and the look in their eyes towards Jiangning was full of murderous intent. Having been whipped like this, even if they managed to escape in the future, Li Chang would probably only be a useless person. Feeling the murderous aura from all the members of the Flying Immortal Sect, the prison guard who had previously been executed couldn't help but shrink back. At the same time, it angers an entire first-class sect. If it were placed in normal times, ordinary small countries on Earth would probably be instantly destroyed. They don't want to touch this mold now. But Jiangning didn't pay any attention to the people of Feilu Sect, instead he lowered his head and pondered. The prisoner has already been punished, why is the system not responding? Is it because the punishment is not strong enough? Jiangning frowned and looked at Li Chang, who had already passed out. After a moment, his gaze fell on an elder with white eyebrows and white hair of the Flying Immortal Sect. The latter suddenly trembled. Is it difficult? Is this kid really not afraid of revenge from his ancestors? Do you dare to torture yourself? But before the elder could speak, Jiangning's cold voice had already sounded in everyone's ears. Sun Wei, an accomplice. Collaborating with the enemy and betraying the country will result in a punishment of 50 thunder whips. This sentence once again surprised everyone. Just now, the lightning whip of 20 has already defeated Li Chang. Although Elder Sun Wei is slightly stronger, he may not be far from death if he has to bear 50 lashes. At this moment, Sun Wei quickly shouted loudly and glared fiercely at Jiangning. If you dare to whip me and damage my foundation, my ancestors will definitely not let you go. Upon hearing this, the prison guards also secretly looked at their superiors. That's what they were afraid of before. So it won't be too harsh, usually it's just a simple lesson for the prisoner. This comes with 20 lashes, 50 lashes, and directly offends the other party's accomplices to death. How do we still get around when we go out? So everyone is waiting for Jiangning to give orders. Seeing this, Sun Wei thought his threat had taken effect and sneered. He was about to continue speaking, but suddenly his face changed drastically. Jiangning's expression remained unchanged and he coldly said, "Execution." Yes. The prison guards dared not disobey orders and quickly bowed in salute. Immediately after, Sun Wei's screams echoed back and forth. But Jiangning's expression on her face became increasingly ugly. Because the system still hasn't responded. While he was pondering, the lady of the patriarch Lu Ruyan below was also looking at Jiangning. Unlike the angry others of the Flying Immortal Sect. Her pair of seductive eyes were filled with worry and fear, and her heart was full of wild thoughts. Seeing the scenes just now, she had already confirmed that the life of Zhenhua prison was a near death, not a rumor. The two elders who were punished in the sect were already on their deathbed, leaving only their breath but not their breath. As the main culprit in a major crime, one's husband has a lower chance of surviving. Moreover, the plea for mercy and threats from the others just now have not had any effect. This demon warden must be an unfriendly master. This made Lu Ruyan even more worried in her heart. Dozens of thunder whips were whipped on her husband, even a strong person in the Dao Palace realm could never hold on. No way. Absolutely not. Seemingly sensing Lu Ruyan's gaze, Jiangning also looked over. A semi-transparent system panel suddenly appeared on the former's head. Lu Ruyan identity. Lady of the Patriarch Realm. For layers of the Wheel C Realm rating. 96 evaluation. Mature girl. Experienced in all aspects, mature sister who doesn't like it. Wife. A woman who cares about her husband's safety is really interesting, young man. What do you think? 30 tigers. In the peak period of demand, young man, do you think you can satisfy her? Jiangning's eye twitched suddenly. What kind of tiger and wolf words are all on this entry? Before he could ask why the system entry appeared on Lu Ruyan's head, the prison guard next to him saw Jiangning looking at Lu Ruyan and quickly bent down to explain to him. Lord prisoner, this Lu Ruyan is the daughter of an elder in the Taichu Holy Land and also a very famous daughter of the Heavenly Pride at that time. At the age of just over 20, I reached the 4th level of the Luanhai realm, the other shore realm. I almost became a saint, and it is said that I can reach the Daogong realm before the age of 30. He was vigorously cultivated by the Taichu Holy Land, but later married the leader of the Feilu Sect, Li Lushui, for some unknown reason. Upon hearing this, Jiangning nodded slightly. Unexpectedly, the wife of the sect leader also had some connections. But that's all, he didn't take it to heart. Now it's better to figure out how to obtain system rewards as soon as possible. Punishment where exactly is the problem? Suddenly, Ruyan shouted loudly. Master prisoner. Chapter 3. Husband, please be gentle. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Master prisoner. A mournful voice sounded amidst the prohibition, and Ruyan's face was filled with pleading. Master prisoner, I have something to ask you for. I hope the warden can set up a barrier. Set a barrier. Jiangning raised her eyes and once again shifted her gaze to Ruyan, when the long-awaited system suddenly reacted. Ding! System task triggered. The lady of the patriarch dares to disrespect the host. Punishment can earn rewards. Jiangning's pupils suddenly contracted. Finally, there's a response. Task triggering. Does it require specific targets or events? Jiangning suddenly realized it, but his face remained cold and stern, and he shouted out loud. Where are you, the demon control prison? At the same time, with a gentle wave of his right hand, a lightning whip appeared out of nowhere, ignoring Ruyan's plea and striking it. Zila. The lightning whip suddenly became several meters long, like a silver snake, and fiercely struck Ruyan's body. The latter trembled all over, his face turned pale, but he bit his lips tightly without making a sound. Jiangning's face remained unchanged, and the thunder whip was swung again. Seeing it, everyone present was trembling with fear. The prison guard next to him even had fine beads of sweat on his forehead. Just now, he thought that the warden was looking at Ruyan to see what he meant by him. The result was a ruthless move in the next moment, without any mercy. The jailer's waist bent deeper, afraid that he might misunderstand the warden's intentions and leave a bad impression. The members of the Flying Immortal Sect and the sect leader Li Lushui were even more torn apart in their eyes. Madam. Master of the demon-suppressing prison, Li Lushui, am incompatible with you. As soon as the words fell, Jiangning whipped again, leaving bloodstains on Li Lushui's body. Now the whole room fell silent. But Jiangning still doesn't understand. He has already been punished, why hasn't the system responded? At this moment, Ruyan had the opportunity to speak and begged again, Master prisoner, I hope you can give the little girl a chance. Upon hearing this, Jiangning had no intention of taking notice. But at the thought of it, the other party is still the target of the system task. May there really be a reason? Immediately, he extended his hand and a white light appeared in the prohibition, enveloping both Jiangning and Ruyan. A barrier has already formed, isolating everyone's sight. But inside the barrier, one can still see the outside world. Jiangning looked at Ruyan with a hint of annoyance in her heart. It's like finding a treasure, but without a key, I can only watch from outside and cannot retrieve a treasure. How should I obtain this system reward? After calming her mood for a while, Ruyan almost recovered from the pain. Jiangning spoke softly. Tell me, what's up with you? Ruyan dodged her gaze and took a deep breath before she dared to look up. Master prisoner, I have something to ask for. As long as you don't make things difficult for my husband and spare his life. I am willing to hand over all the treasures and heritage of the Flying Immortal Sect to the warden. These are all the secrets of my Flying Immortal Sect. There is no third person in the world who can find it except for me and my husband. When Ruyan said these words, it seemed as if she had made a great decision, and after speaking, she became less nervous. Jiangning's eyes twitched slightly, and her complexion remained unchanged. Treasure technique. He didn't take it to heart. The foundation of a first-class sect is very profound, but the system is its own treasure. Currently, Jiangning is all focused on the system. There is no time to manage the treasures left by the Flying Immortal Sect. And I am still an ordinary person, holding the identity of a demon warden. If I go out now, I will die. Jiangning didn't speak up, just stood still and pondered how to punish him effectively. In the eyes of Ruyan, this demon-suppressing prison master had no intention at all, clearly showing no interest in the foundation of the Flying Immortal Sect. Not moved at all. Ruyan's seductive eyes flashed with a hint of struggle, and she slowly made up her mind and spoke softly. As long as you agree to my request, Master, I am willing to do anything for you. Willing to do anything for me. Jiangning frowned slightly. Yes. Ruyan's shoulders trembled slightly before continuing, even my body is willing for you to enjoy it as you please, sir. Upon hearing these words, Jiangning's eyes became increasingly strange. He heard such a request for the first time. If the Lord outside knows, he might just collapse. But he didn't think much either. Just a subconscious roast in my heart. Then he regained his expression as if Kuei had no waves, and began to ponder to himself. Punishment doesn't necessarily mean that, does it? Indeed, this should also be considered a punishment. Think of it here. Jiangning immediately decided to give it a try. He gradually understood in his heart that ordinary punishment should not be effective. With a gesture, little light and shadow condensed in the void, forming a large bed under Ruyan's body. Lift the other person up. Ruyan's eyes revealed despair, hatred, and unwillingness. Turning his head, he happened to see his husband, who was also anxiously looking towards him. But isolated by barriers. Ruyan can see her husband from outside, but her husband cannot see Ruyan, let alone understand what is happening inside. Her shoulders trembled and she gently bit her lips. Sorrow couldn't help but surge out of my heart. If my husband knows, how should he view me? I'm afraid a crystal-clear tear fell from Ruyan's delicate face, leaving a thin tear mark that unconsciously revealed a pitiful expression. I can't care about so much anymore. Saving your husband's life is the most important thing. Ruyan's heart trembled as she slowly closed her eyes and stopped looking. Jiangning looked at the other person coldly, disdainful in her heart. Even though the other party was pitiful, Jiangning had no intention of letting her go. The experimental system was of utmost importance. Then he directly untied the jade belt around his waist. Half an hour later. Watching Ruyan limp on the bed with a flushed face. Jiangning put on her clothes. At this point, the sound of the system in my mind finally rang out again. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the mission and successfully punishing the sect leader's wife. Chapter 4. Madam, did he not do anything to you? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Jiangning raised her eyebrows slightly, and a hint of joy couldn't help but appear in her eyes. Ignoring Ruyan, he quickly started checking the system rewards. Let out a soft cry in your heart. Countless knowledge suddenly surged into my mind. Immediately afterwards, a strange sensation flowed throughout his body, giving him a feeling of full strength. Ding! Congratulations to the host for receiving the reward, Chunyang Ancient Classic. Chunyang Ancient Classic Introduction. The Imperial Scriptures left by Emperor Chunyang in ancient times. Peel off the acquired grouping and reveal the innate true Yang. Evaluation. The road to success, the body can also be immortal. Watch the system rewards. Jiangning was stunned. He doesn't remember the person Chunyang Heavenly Emperor. But he understood how important the words, Heavenly Emperor, were. At least Jiangning has never heard of anyone in this world who dares to call him the Heavenly Emperor. Only the half-step Empress of the Great Flame Dynasty is still revered by the world. The first reward from the system was actually given directly to the Emperor's Classic. The evaluation given by the system also shocked Jiangning immensely. The road to success and the invincibility of one's physical and mental abilities are also unbeatable. What arrogance is this? If someone dares to boast about their cultivation techniques pointing straight to the Tao, which can make the cultivator immortal, just the cultivators in this world can drown them with just one mouthful of saliva. But the system is different. Just because this world doesn't have it doesn't mean other worlds don't have it. Jiangning's eyes gradually showed a look of ecstasy. I immediately checked it. But before he could calm down, another strange warm current surged into his body. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the task and receiving cultivation rewards. Practice rewards. Jiangning was taken aback again. Immediately, the breath climbed up step by step, and there was a crackling sound all over the body, as if undergoing some kind of transformation. Even the body was covered with a faint golden light. This is a symbol of the successful entry into the practice of the pure Yang classic. Jiangning could feel that the terrifying power contained within him could erupt at any moment. He has directly reached the first level of the Luanhai secret realm. Without the need for cultivation, one can successfully open the sea of suffering. This is even more of a fantasy. Speaking it out can startle the jaws of many great powers. Jiangning now truly feels the flow of true qi in her body and the terrifying power transmitted from the pure Yang classic. The sudden breath also stunned Lu Ruyan. She stared blankly at Jiangning, who was covered in golden light. The opponent's tall and upright body gives him a terrifying feeling that contains endless energy, from extreme yang to hardness, and is extremely domineering. Like a big sun in front of her. How could it be? He was just an ordinary person just now. Lu Ruyan's eyes widened in disbelief. Although her cultivation was sealed, Lu Ruyan's eyes were still there, her realm was still there, and she had just developed an intimate relationship with Jiangning. She knew that the other party had never practiced before. Even there are no traces of refining the body. How could it suddenly open up a sea of suffering? And the feeling that Jiangning brings to her is by no means comparable to that of an ordinary cultivator in the bitter sea realm. And this aura Lianming Spring? No. Even the aura of a cultivator in the divine bridge realm cannot have such a powerful aura. Even she felt a faint hint of pressure. What kind of anti-heaven technique is he practicing? Lu Ruyan was confused, but she could be certain that the Taichu Holy Land definitely did not have such terrifying martial arts. It can instantly open up a sea of suffering for an ordinary person, even comparable to a cultivator in the realm of life spring in divine bridge. But she will never know. Jiangning has not yet started practicing. Even the bitter sea was opened up with the help of the system. Jiangning will not care about the other party's doubts. After calming down her breath, Jiangning put away her smile from the corner of her mouth and looked faintly at Lu Ruyan. At this moment, he suddenly remembered that the other party had mentioned the heritage inheritance and hidden treasures of the Flying Immortal Sect before. Now that I know the method to obtain system rewards, I will have the power to protect myself when I go out in the future. I can definitely find a way to take the treasure. Immediately, Jiangning looked faintly at Lu Ruyan and spoke coldly. Tell us one by one about the inheritance of Feixian sect and the places where treasures are hidden. Upon hearing this, Lu Ruyan's face stiffened and she hesitated for a few seconds before finally telling Jiangning everything. She doesn't attach much importance to this and only wants to protect her husband. After listening, Jiangning will no longer delay time. With a wave of his hand, he withdrew the barrier. Seeing Jiangning come out, the prison guards quickly bowed and saluted. Jiangning nodded lightly and said, "That's it for today. Take them down. Since you have already received the system reward, there is no need to continue punishing these people. Finding the next one that can trigger the task goal is the most important thing." And now Jiangning just wants to go back and quickly familiarize himself with his strength and realm. I have no time to deal with the prisoners of the Flying Immortal Sect. Yes, the prison guards responded. Just as I bent down, a strange color appeared in my eyes. When tidying up the members of the Flying Immortal Sect, there was a strange look in the eyes of Lu Ruyan. The prison guard who escorted Lu Ruyan became much gentler in his movements, but with only a few reminders, he stopped talking. My boss and the wife of the sect leader have been in for so long, and the wife of the sect leader has come out unscathed. It's hard for them not to think too much. Madam. The patriarch shouted loudly, his eyes filled with concern. Lu Ruyan quickly ran over and stood beside the patriarch. The prison guards around did not make a statement when they saw Jiangning, so they did not intervene. Yue, he didn't do anything to you, did he? The patriarch's eyes scanned every corner of Lu Ruyan's body, as if searching for scars. I breathed a sigh of relief when I saw that Lu Ruyan was intact. The latter does not know what to say. Although the sect leader was unable to see what had just happened inside, Lu Ruyan felt extremely ashamed in her heart. She was pinned down by other men in front of her husband. Fortunately, Lu Ruyan quickly adjusted her mindset. Stroking the wound on the patriarch's body, revealing a faint smile, he whispered, "Don't worry, husband, I'm fine." When she said these words, for some reason, scenes in the barrier flashed through Lu Ruyan's mind unconsciously. The elders of Feilu's sect showed a hint of malice in their eyes. What prison guards can think of, how could they not think of it? Humph. An elder sneered, "Madam, the sect leader, is really a good means." She went in and spent an hour alone with the lord of the demon control prison, and then let us go. I just don't know what the patriarch's wife did inside. The other elder also spoke with a strange tone. They had been displeased with Lu Ruyan before, thinking that the other party, relying on their status as the wife of the sect leader, always suppressed themselves. Now it's completely undisguised. Hee, even if we really do something dirty, we don't know, do you think so? Shut up. Our sect leader warns you not to talk nonsense. Li Lushui's tiger eyes burst open, staring at the other person with cannibalistic eyes. Husband, Madam, there's no need to say more. I know you're not that kind of person. Li Lushui's tone was firm, tightly gripping Lu Ruyan's tender white hand, making the latter feel even more guilty. The elders of the Flying Immortal sect around only sneered. Sai Jiangning doesn't have time to pay attention to this group of prisoners at this moment. But rather, I am studying the rewards I have just received with peace of mind. The more he watched, the more shocked Jiangning's heart became. The Pure Yang Classic is not only very powerful, but also has extremely strict requirements for cultivators. Even if one's talent is slightly inferior, they cannot enter the level. We still need a lot of natural materials, earth treasures, and rare foreign objects that Jiangning has never heard of before. See these. He couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief to himself. Fortunately, the system can directly improve cultivation, so you don't have to worry about these requirements. Otherwise, Jiangning really didn't know where to look. Even the entry level can hold him for a long time. Then everything will rest. I guess the ashes have all been raised. After all the prisoners were taken away, Jiangning also prepared to go back and study his own Pure Yang Classic. See how it fully demonstrates the innate true Yang method. Jiangning is so excited that his physical and mental abilities can never be destroyed. Even the grateful gaze cast by the lady of the patriarch upon her return was not seen. The other party still thinks that Jiangning has promised her and will no longer make things difficult for her husband. But Jiangning never mentioned this matter from beginning to end, or rather didn't take it to heart, let alone agree to these 2 words. Just turned around and didn't take 2 steps. Suddenly, a prison guard ran over. Master prisoner. The saints in the A.Zone are starting to cause trouble again. Chapter 5. The saints causing troubles. I will teach you how to control the demon prison. You are listening at novelfull.audio. What's going on? Jiangning turned around and saw that there were still prisoners in the demon control prison who dared to cause trouble. Master, return to prison. The jailer bowed and answered, she is the saint of the holy land of Lianyue. She has a very strong temper and her escape was unsuccessful. She directly tried to resist the prohibition with her body. It's almost a habit to insult prison guards. When the prison guard said these words, he also had a bitter expression on his face. Jiangning was slightly taken aback and almost laughed angrily. She is a prisoner and dares to escape and insult prison guards. Why don't you teach her a lesson? Do I have to teach this kind of thing? The prison guard was also sweating profusely, knowing that he had left a bad impression on the warden and quickly explained. Sir. You don't know anything. The Lianyue Holy Land is a first-class holy land that has just been destroyed. The Lianyue saints have the inheritance of their holy land, and men cannot stand close to them. So the villain had no choice but to deal with her, and even the previous warden was exhausted there. This resulted in the Saint Lianyue's temper remaining unchanged at all. Listening to the prison guard's account, Jiangning's eyebrows slightly raised. It was the first time he had heard of such a thing. Do you say that the Lotus Moon Saint has a hereditary restriction on her body, and men cannot get close to her? Yes. The jailer nodded and continued to explain, the cultivation technique of Lianyue Holy Land is very strange, called the Extreme Yin Heart Technique. When practicing, it is necessary to gather the Yin Sha Qi and cultivate the body into an extremely Yin body. The higher the cultivation level, the stronger this extremely Yin body becomes. Even the surrounding environment will be changed, and the Yin Sha Qi will entangle. As soon as a man approaches, his Yang Qi will be fiercely attacked by the Yin Sha Qi. The Yang energy on an ordinary practitioner's body cannot be compared to the body of extreme Yin. Not to mention being a man, even a woman cannot withstand such a powerful Yin Sha Qi. Jiangning's face remained unchanged, but her heart became interested. The Extreme Yin Heart Technique gathers the energy of Yin and Sha, and cultivates the body into an extremely Yin body. I don't know if my pure Yang classic can restrain her. Since ancient times, the energy of Yin and evil has been restrained by the pure Yang energy, which is extremely Yang and rigid. Although Lianyue Holy Land is a first-class sect, it is definitely much inferior to the pure Yang Heavenly Emperor who created the pure Yang classic. Or rather, these two are not comparable at all. A peerless powerhouse who creates a first-class sect dare not proclaim himself emperor. Perhaps there could be additional discoveries. Take me over. Jiangning spoke lightly. Quickly, the prison guard took Jiangning to the entrance of a cell in the C-shaped area of the Jinhua prison. Just getting close, the prison guard couldn't help but shiver. Even if the cultivation of the Lotus Moon Saint is sealed, the extremely Yin body can automatically gather the surrounding Yin and evil energy, and the temperature is much lower than other areas. It will also make prison guards with lower cultivation feel anxious. Jiangning slowly stepped forward and looked into the prison room, only to see a stunning woman leaning against the wall to scrutinize herself. The woman's cold gaze, combined with her delicate facial features, unconsciously gives a sense of superiority. She is Yin Dongling, the saint of the Lotus Moon Holy Land. Before entering the demon control prison, in Yuzhou, where Lianyue Holy Land belonged, it aroused the pursuit of countless Tianjiao. Relying solely on her stunning face and proud figure, countless Tianjiao are willing to follow her. My cultivation and natural talent are not inferior at all, and I have reached the Dao Palace realm at a young age. If the Holy Land of Lianyue had not been destroyed in the end, she would likely have become the new Holy Lord of Lianyue by now. However, it is precisely because of this that her stunning appearance, combined with top-notch talent, makes her proud and does not regard other geniuses in the slightest. In addition, with his unique martial arts skills, Yin Dongling is still a virgin. When Jiangning's gaze fell on Yin Dongling, the latter automatically has a semi-transparent system panel on its head. Yin Dongling Realm. 1 level of Dao Palace. Identity. Saint Lianyue Rating. 97 Evaluation. Proud and Heavenly Achievements. The various advantages bestowed upon her by heaven make Lianyue a saint look down on men with lower talents than her. Doom. A saint with a proud and cold appearance, but a strong desire to be conquered in her heart. Youth, come on. Lianyue Holy Maiden. The daughter of Tianjiao, vigorously cultivated by Lianyue Holy Land, has been hoped for by countless strong people. Upon seeing the introduction of the entry, Jiangning's eyes twitched again. This system is not very serious. What is this all about? Even TikTok has come out. Are you the new demon warden? It doesn't look very good either. The lord of the demon control prison is getting worse every time, not as good as the previous one. Yin Dongling's cold voice echoed, his chin slightly raised, and his eyes filled with mockery. Jiang Ning's identity can be seen from the attitude of the prison guard. Only the warden can make the guard so respectful. Although Yin Dongling's cultivation was granted, his realm and vision were still there. At a glance, he could see that Jiang Ning was just a cultivator who had just opened up the sea of suffering. Even if the aura needs to be stronger, it's still just a secret realm of the Wheel Sea. As a secret realm of the Dao Palace, Yin Dongling, who had already refined the divine treasure of the heart, did not take Jiang Ning seriously at all. Jiang Ning had not yet reacted, but a systematic sound appeared in her mind. Ding! Lianyue Saint collides with the host, triggering a punishment mission. Ding! Completing punishment tasks can earn system rewards. Jiang Ning was delighted that the system task had been triggered again in such a short amount of time. But there was no expression on his face, he just looked at Yin Dongling indifferently, ignoring the other party's provocation. With a wave of his hand, the cell door automatically opened and he spoke to the nearby prison guard, saying, "Go and teach her the rules of the demon control prison well." Chapter 6. Extreme Yang Mind Technique, Conquer the Holy Maiden of the Moon. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yes. Prisoners working in the demon control prison can also use some simple prohibitions. A lightning whip appeared out of thin air in his right hand. Before he could even take action, he saw Yin Dongling, the goddess of Lianyue, sneer. Her already stunning face, when she smiles, is even more heart-stirring. A pair of apricot eyes can make people addicted and unable to extricate themselves by just casually scanning them. Standing straight, revealing a tall and proud figure, he took 2 steps forward and stood a few meters away from the prison guard. Suddenly, a strong Yin Sha aura rushed towards the prison guard, frightening him and causing him to tremble all over. He quickly retreated. He dared to whip Yin Dongling a few times outside. Now the prison door has been opened, and as soon as you approach, you will undoubtedly die if you get infected with the Yin Sha energy around the opponent's body. That's not something he can withstand, just a prison guard. Upon seeing this, Yin Dongling's mockery grew even stronger in his eyes, and he looked disdainfully at Jiang Ning. I dare not even approach, what else are you talking about teaching me rules? It's really ridiculous. Although she has become a prisoner, her arrogance is still innate, and she doesn't even look up to the previous demon warden, let alone the current Jiangning. Speaking, she became even more arrogant. Looking at Jiang Ning, his eyes suddenly became cold. If you don't let me out, I'll kill you now. Not only a waste, but also a fool. Don't you know the uniqueness of my martial arts? Yin Dongling was extremely arrogant and stared at Jiang Ning. At this distance, as long as I take another step forward, you will definitely die. In her eyes, a cultivator who had just opened up a bitter sea was simply not worthy of talking to herself. Don't even talk about teaching yourself a lesson. It's simply ridiculous. If it weren't for the concern for the identity of Jiangning Town Demon Prison Master, Yin Dongling would have stepped forward long ago, allowing the Yin Sha Qi to erode Jiangning's entire body. Before death, he would have to endure the pain of falling into an ice cave. However, after killing Jiangning, there were also numerous forbidden formations in the demon control prison, and it was impossible for Yin Dongling alone to escape. So she didn't choose to take action directly. To her surprise, Jiangning's expression remained unchanged, as if she didn't care about the yin and sha energy around her body. This left Yin Dongling somewhat puzzled. In theory, at such a close distance, the cultivator in the state of suffering should be unable to bear it anymore. But soon Yin Dongling suddenly realized. How could a cultivator in the Wheel Sea realm resist her yin sha qi? She must be holding on and refusing to show her fear. This made Yin Dongling even more disdainful. Fool! There is no benefit in doing so except for hurting himself. Even the prison guard nervously looked at Jiangning. The lord of the demon control prison died here, and he is also closely related. Several times, I wanted to remind the warden to step back or directly use prohibition to suppress the goddess of the moon. But seeing the calm expression on Jiangning's face, the prison guard swallowed a mouthful of saliva with difficulty and chose to give up the reminder. Jiangning just looked at the other person coldly. When he first arrived, he had already confirmed that the extremely yin mind technique of the Lianyue Holy Land was completely restrained by the pure yang ancient classic. As soon as the yin sha qi comes over, it automatically dissolves completely. The yin and evil energy that frightened the prison guards and countless cultivators in the world has no effect here in Jiangning. This is the imperial scripture left by Emperor Chunyang in ancient times. Just as Yin Dongling was pleased, Jiangning took a step forward without retreating, and directly stepped into the range covered by the yin sha qi. Suddenly, Yin Dongling and the prison guard both widened their eyes. The latter rushed forward in a hurry, wanting to protect Jiangning, but was directly separated by Jiangning waving his hand. I can only stand still and be in a hurry. If the warden dies because of him, then he has no need to live anymore. Yin Dongling was even more surprised. Is he crazy? Then I'll fulfill him. Yin Dongling's face was as frosty as ice, and he followed 2 steps forward and walked towards Jiangning. She had already curled up a cold smile at the corner of her mouth, as if she foresaw the next moment when Jiangning would be eroded by the yin sha qi, fall to the ground, howl and die in pain. But soon, Yin Dongling's smile froze. Jiangning not only had nothing to do, but Yin Dongling himself was almost suffocated by the extremely fierce pressure of pure yang. How could it be? Yin Dongling's face turned pale, and his mouth slightly widened. You can actually resist my yin sha qi. The words have just finished. Yin Dongling was once again shocked. She could feel her yin and evil energy rapidly melting away. There is only one possibility. What kind of cultivation are you practicing? Yin Dongling's eyes were full of disbelief, and he unconsciously took 2 steps back, wanting to stay away from Jiangning. You have just opened up the bitter sea, and it is impossible for you to possess such a domineering and fierce pure yang power. Upon hearing these words, the prison guard who was about to call for help froze, staring blankly at this warden. No, it's okay. Even the yin sha aura that the previous warden was very afraid of was easily cracked by the new warden. The prison guard couldn't believe it. But he soon saw Jiangning move, and the latter's face remained unchanged as he took 2 more steps closer. Directly forced the Saint Lianyue to the corner of the deep prison cell. Lianyue Saint Yin Dongling leaned against the corner of the wall, her eyes still unbelievable, and she collapsed on the ground, murmuring incessantly to oneself. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. There are a few techniques that can rival my extreme yin heart technique in the Holy Land of the Moon. But it's impossible to exceed that much. The yin and sha qi cultivated in our Taoist palace realm was actually suppressed by the pure yang in the bitter sea realm. Upon hearing this, Jiangning felt disdainful in his heart. As he waved his hand, the lightning whip had already surfaced in his hand, and the silver-white light illuminated the entire cell, making his voice extremely cold. Causing trouble and confronting the warden. What you should consider now is how to withstand my lightning whip. Chapter 7. Punish the Holy Maiden and build a divine bridge. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. What are you doing? Yin Dongling's face stiffened slightly. Although she received some punishment when she came to the demon-suppressing prison, she was unique and the previous demon-suppressing prison master was unable to do anything to her. So the punishment received was not heavy, but instead made Yin Dongling even more arrogant. However, even though the martial arts have been restrained, the arrogance still persists, making it impossible to submit to a cultivator in the We'll See realm of Jiangning. Humph, if you dare to touch me, I will definitely cut you to pieces when I go out in the future. Yin Dongling's delicate facial features seemed to have a layer of frost condensing, staring at Jiangning with endless killing intent. Jiangning is too lazy to pay attention. He has already figured out how to punish in order to obtain system rewards. But Yin Dongling's arrogant attitude made him very unhappy, so Jiangning planned to teach him a lesson first. With a strike of the right lightning whip towards the air, a white barrier immediately separated the two from the prison guards outside the cell. Seeing this scene, Yin Dongling's pupils shrank slightly and he was about to continue threatening. But he saw that the thunder whip in Jiangning's hand had already been whipped. Zila. The arc jumped, and countless silver-white thunder snakes surged out of Yin Dongling's skin. The powerful electric current crazily stimulates every muscle and organ of the opponent. The pain of 1,000 snakes devouring his heart made Yin Dongling unable to help but scream out. Ah! You thief, I will definitely kill you. Before the words could be finished, the thunder whip had already struck again with the howling wind. Yin Dongling let out another scream of agony. The whole body is in excruciating pain. The thunder whip fell repeatedly, and Yin Dongling screamed and cursed angrily. Suddenly, a strange emotion surged into Yin Dongling's heart, making it difficult to accept. Before, no one dared to treat me like this. Yin Dongling was unwilling to admit it in his heart. On one hand, she wanted to kill Jiangning, but on the other hand, she wanted to. The interweaving of two emotions made Yin Dongling suffer immensely, with even greater shame and hatred towards Jiangning in his heart. Staring intently at Jiangning, as if trying to shatter the other person's body into pieces. Jiangning has almost learned his lesson. Immediately stopped the whip and prepared to begin the real punishment. Obtaining system rewards is what matters. Previously, the whip only wanted the other party to recognize reality. Previously, I punished the wife of the sect leader and obtained the pure Yang classic. What can we gain this time? Jiangning was full of anticipation, and all her thoughts were focused on the system. With a wave of his hand, countless black chains appeared out of thin air, stretching out from the void and tying Yin Dongling's limbs together to hang. This surprised the latter, and his face changed greatly. What are you doing? I'll kill you. I'll kill you. No matter how much Yin Dongling shouted, Jiangning remained unmoved. Shame and anger occupied Yin Dongling's heart. In the outside world, she was pursued by countless arrogant people, and Yin Dongling could make them willingly follow with just a smile. But now he is being treated like this by a cultivator with a heavy sea environment. Yin Dongling realized that he was enjoying it more and more. A pair of apricot eyes that captivate the soul sparkled with crystal clarity. The deep pride in her heart made her unwilling to admit that she could not feel pleasure in punishment. Half an hour later. Jiangning glanced lightly at Yin Dongling, who was still hanging up with hatred, and ignored him. Ding! The punishment task has been completed, ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining cultivation rewards. A system prompt sound echoed in Jiangning's mind. In the next moment, the pure yang energy around him was strong, and countless golden light and electricity emerged from the void, and then converged on Jiangning. He covered Jiangning with a golden coat, and the yin and sha energy in the prison cell melted away like encountering a natural enemy in an instant. In an instant, Jiangning cultivates the spring of life. A strong and domineering aura emanated and continued to climb. Yin Dongling was also startled by this aura and stared at Jiangning in disbelief, murmuring, "Did he break through?" As soon as the words fell, Jiangning's aura suddenly rose to a new level. Behind it, there seems to be a big sun emerging, and a phantom of a divine bridge is projected out. He's just setting up a divine bridge. Yin Dongling exclaimed in surprise. A cool breath rushed straight from the soles of his feet towards the heavenly spirit cover, and Yin Dongling's face turned pale. How could it be? Just by opening up the bitter sea, one can cultivate the life spring and then directly build the divine bridge. I'm afraid no one will believe me even if I say it out loud. She is a saint of the first-class Sect's Lotus Moon Holy Land, unheard of. Searching through my memory, I couldn't find any ancient book that recorded this kind of thing. Genius and demons are not enough to describe. External geniuses have expended countless energy and effort to build a divine bridge in the life spring, but the person in front of them only took a few seconds. And this aura is still rising. It didn't stop until the peak of the Xinqiao realm. The shadow of the great sun disappeared. Jiangning slowly opened her eyes and trembled all over, and suddenly a crackling sound echoed from the prison cell. A wave of intangible energy rippled out. Looking at his own hands, Jiangning could feel the terrifying power contained within it, and now it's not a problem to crack mountains and rocks. Is this the strength of a cultivator? Jiangning raised her eyes slightly and looked out of the prison cell, at the world outside the demon control prison. Even if his strength is put in the outside world, he is still capable of being called a strong person. But Jiangning understands that this is not enough. Not enough for him to face two powerful enemies. We must hurry up. As soon as he looked at Yin Dongling, Jiangning waved his hand and the chain disappeared out of thin air. The goddess Lianyue fell directly onto the ground of the prison cell. Then Jiangning spoke lightly. Remember to serve your sentence obediently, otherwise I will come and teach you a lesson. Upon hearing this, Yin Dongling, who had just regained his senses from the shock, suddenly became angry and his eyebrows stood on end, staring fiercely at Jiangning. The humiliating scenes that just happened are still echoing in Yin Dongling's mind. For some unknown reason, Yin Dongling had a faint expectation in his heart. This made her even more ashamed and angry. I will definitely kill you. Jiangning is too lazy to bother with her. Since the system reward has been received, there is no need to stay here. You can also go to other places in the demon control prison to see if you can trigger system tasks. Seizing the time to improve our strength is the key. Just about to turn around and leave, Jiangning suddenly stopped in his tracks. He furrowed his brow slightly, feeling as if something was wrong with his body. Division line seeking flowers, seeking collection. Chapter 8. Unexpected Gains. The extreme young heart technique has become a great achievement. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Jiangning's eyes showed confusion and closed. Quietly perceiving the changes in energy in the body. Suddenly, the stagnant atmosphere once again surged. At the next moment, the pure yang energy, which was just as intense as before, erupted violently, and heavy waves of energy kept rolling. This scene also made Yin Dongling frown slightly. Looking at Jiangning in confusion, unsure of what had happened to the other party. Isn't it just breaking through two levels of boundaries? How did the aura become stronger again? The moment Jiangning opened his eyes, a golden phantom appeared in them. The uncontrollable joy in my heart, the shadow of the big sun, did not disappear. But it shifted to the eyes. The change I just felt is a breakthrough in the pure yang classic. Under the influence of the extremely yin mind technique of the goddess Lianyue, the pure yang in Jiangning's body was once again elevated. Peel off the acquired group yin and reveal the innate true yang. At this moment, Jiangning's pure yang classic is truly a beginner. The imperial scripture left by Emperor Chunyang also unleashed his true power at this moment. Jiang is extremely strong and domineering. Previously, the dissolution of yin and evil energy was only a passive use of the pure yang classic by Jiangning. And now, it has only been controlled by Jiangning. Can be turned on or off at any time. Jiangning closed her eyes, and when she opened them again, the shadow of the big sun in her eyes also dissipated. The prison cell finally returned to its initial cold and damp state. Yin Dongling also came to his senses. The opponent's technique is not only to restrain their extremely yin mind technique, but also has a significant level difference. It's not at all a level. Now Yin Dongling's cultivation is completely sealed, and he cannot exert any strength at all. He can only passively withstand this fierce pure yang force, and cannot resist. She almost couldn't catch her breath. But soon Yin Dongling realized something was wrong. This pure yang power is clearly enhanced by stimulation. Stimulated. The more he thought about it, Yin Dongling's eyes widened and he angrily scolded. You actually treat me like a cauldron furnace. Upon hearing this, Jiangning's mouth slightly curled up, and her mood was very good. This time I came to teach the Lotus Moon Saint a lesson, not only to improve her cultivation, but also to truly introduce the pure yang classic. The harvest is not insignificant. Jiangning was very satisfied. Along with it, my mood has also improved significantly. I didn't want to deal with Yin Dongling, but Jiangning's thoughts were all focused on the pure yang classic. However, seeing that the other party is still so arrogant, I must give him a lesson. The next moment, Jiangning turned around and looked expressionlessly at Yin Dongling. The latter is still immersed in the anger of being treated as a cauldron. She is a goddess of pity, but now she is used as a tool for cultivation. If I have a chance to go out in the future, I will definitely be the first to kill you. If I don't cut you to pieces, it's hard to dispel the hatred in my heart. As he was speaking, Yin Dongling's face suddenly stiffened, and the remaining words got stuck in his throat and he couldn't say anything. I saw Jiangning once again open the big sun shadow in her eyes. The aura of Jiang and Jigang permeated, causing Yin Dongling's extremely yin body to be extremely painful, and her breathing became a bit rapid. The just recovered physical strength immediately dissipated, and Yin Dongling collapsed to the ground with a thud, his face pale. If you dare not show respect again, the warden will kill you. Jiangning's tone is cold. As the demon warden, he holds the ultimate power over the life and death of all prisoners. As for the background behind the goddess Lianyue, Jiangning is not afraid at all. Although his current realm is still the divine bridge, his combat power is by no means comparable to that of a cultivator in the Wheel C secret realm. Even the cultivator who has just completed the first divine treasure cultivation in the Daogong secret realm is confident that Jiangning will encounter it. This is the confidence brought to him by the pure yang classic. In ancient times, the imperial scriptures left by the heavenly emperor were incomparable to those inherited by external sections. Yin Dongling's heart has been occupied by the killing intent. From Jiangning's words just now, Yin Dongling could tell that the other party could really kill him. No way. If this guy is allowed to grow, I have no hope of going out again. Yin Dongling's eyes couldn't help but show a hint of malice. We must find a way to kill this guy before he reaches the Daogong secret realm. Although the martial arts are restrained. But as a holy woman, Yin Dongling has inherited the holy land and also refined the divine treasure of the heart. Confidently, Jiangning is not yet her opponent. Jiangning ignored her no longer, waved his hand to remove the barrier, turned around, and prepared to walk out. The prison guard waiting outside quickly welcomed him. Seeing the tormented and pale face of the goddess Lianyue, her purple shirt was already torn and her fair skin was exposed on a large scale. The jailer's eyes were somewhat surprised. This is a ruthless person who even the previous warden had no choice but to let go. But immediately it felt taken for granted. After all, Jiangning did something that the previous warden could not do, and easily cracked the Yin Sha aura around the body of Lianyue Saint. Master prisoner. The prison guard bent down to salute, showing even more respect. What else is there? Jiangning spoke calmly. He was still thinking of going to other places in the demon control prison to see if he could trigger system tasks. The jailer quickly replied, someone just reported that there are several people outside the demon control prison who want to see the warden. Chapter 9. Ruyan's reputation, beauty and misfortune. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Seeking an audience. Jiangning was taken aback, somewhat puzzled. Why would someone ask to see me on my first day in office? However, Jiangning didn't care either. He had to go to other places in the demon control prison to search for opportunities to trigger system tasks. Improving one's strength is the most important thing. Then he waved his hand and said calmly, "No, I have something else to do." "Say it." Jiangning planned to leave. At this moment, he saw the jailer with a troubled expression on his face and said, "Sir, you'd better go and take a look. They seem to be here to give gifts. And they are all members of aristocratic families, such as the Lu, Yang, and Li families, who are very famous and not inferior to first-class sects like the Feilu Sect. Among them, the Wang family is also a family of alchemists, with a weight slightly heavier than that of first-class sects, so." Upon hearing the last sentence, Jiangning was somewhat surprised. The Great Xia dynasty was a hegemonic force in this world, supported by countless aristocratic families, and Jiangning was not surprised. But why give yourself gifts? He sensed the implied meaning of the prison guard, hoping to persuade himself not to offend the new official on his first day in office. In terms of family background, a demon warden really can't compare to them. But after Jiangning had the system, he didn't care about these aristocratic families. As for the alchemist family, others may not dare to offend them and are very respectful to alchemists, but Jiangning can improve his cultivation without the need for pills. Moreover, the system's cultivation rewards have no side effects, let alone destabilize Jiangning's realm. After some thought, I still plan to go and take a look. Jiangning was also a bit curious. They all came to find him. What was going on? "Master prisoner, this way." The prison guard breathed a sigh of relief and quickly bent down to lead Jiangning. Soon, a group of young people dressed in brocade clothes were seen. "Master prisoner." The prison guards waiting around all bowed and saluted when they saw Jiangning coming over. The young people wearing brocade clothes also smiled and saluted, but there was no sign of respect on their expressions. "Master prisoner, this is the seventh prince of the Wang family, Wang. The prison guard led by Jiangning introduced him. Jiangning looked over and saw a very good-looking young man smiling and bowing to him. "Pay respects to the lord of the demon control prison." Upon hearing this, Jiangning just nodded. The third young master of the Li family, Li Lianhai. The second young master of the Yang family, On Ling, and this is the fifth young master of the Lu family, Lu Ren. Listening to the prison guard's introduction, Jiangning became a bit impatient and still worried about his system tasks. He didn't have the time to deal with these aristocratic young masters. Immediately, Jiangning waved his hand and interrupted the prison guard's introduction, speaking calmly. "Tell me, what's up with you coming to me?" Seeing this, the young masters who were about to introduce themselves one by one showed an awkward expression on their faces. Wang immediately stepped out. "We are all here to congratulate you, Lord. Congratulations on becoming the master of the demon control prison. Master prisoner, this is a congratulatory gift prepared by our Wang family for you, called EP1-10. Speaking, Wang raised his chin slightly and took out a very delicate small wooden box. At the moment of opening, a strange fragrance permeated, revealing a pill with light golden cloud patterns. A burst of exclamation echoed beside him. The prison guards were whispering. Surprisingly, it's the Huanyuan pill. It's said to be very helpful to the cultivators in the Luanhai secret realm. How many people couldn't find a single Huanyuan Dan, and it was sent out like this? Undoubtedly a family of alchemists, they are generous in their efforts. Even the aristocratic young masters around them had a slight change in their faces. But they quickly adjusted and refused to be outdone, coming forward to offer congratulations to Jiangning. This is a gift from my Li family to adults, Bloodlingji. Ha ha ha. The gift from our Lu family to adults is Millennium Spirit Ginseng. And my Yang families, also known as the Millennium Spirit Ginseng. As congratulatory gifts were placed one by one in front of Jiangning, the prison guard's eyes also showed a hint of warmth. These are all real natural resources and treasures. Even if it is not as good as the Huanyuan pill sent by the alchemist Wang, it is definitely something that can be encountered but not sought after. Even if you want to buy at a high price, you don't have that opportunity. This sincerity is not insignificant. So the young masters of aristocratic families are very confident when sending congratulatory gifts. Jiangning's expression remained unchanged. A congratulatory gift. Although he holds a considerable official position as the Lord of the Demon Control Prison, his power is limited to the Demon Control Prison. In the Demon Control Prison, Jiangning can manage all the prisoners and prison guards, but once he leaves the Demon Control Prison, he has no power. Choosing to befriend other officials, Jiangning can still understand. But what is giving oneself gifts for? Are you planning to enter the Demon Control Prison in the future? Obviously impossible. Jiangning frowned slightly and looked at the numerous aristocratic young masters. What exactly are you looking for me for? Upon hearing this, a hint of evil light flashed in Wang Heng's eyes, and a smile appeared on his face. Prisoner Lord, to be honest, we all came for Lu Ruyan. When he first saw Lu Ruyan, he was deeply fascinated by her. In pursuit of Lu Ruyan, countless efforts were put into refining pills with the power of the family, only to win the favor of the beautiful woman. What he didn't expect was that in the end, Lu Ruyan married the leader of the Flying Immortal Sect, Li Lushui. This matter became a thorn in Wang Heng's heart. I originally wanted to give up, but suddenly heard that the Flying Immortal Sect was colluding with another country, and important figures in the sect had all entered the Demon Control Prison. Give Wang Heng another ray of hope. Flying Immortal Sect. Wang Heng longed for them all to die, but Lu Ruyan was determined to win. The Huanyuan pill sent out this time is extremely precious even if it is placed in the Wang family of alchemists. Wang Heng is extremely confident and the other party will definitely be moved. Jiangning was taken aback by the words and immediately remembered rumors from the outside world that when Lu Ruyan was still unmarried in Qingzhou, countless young talents were obsessed with her beauty. Even now, it is not an exaggeration to say that the world is unparalleled. After becoming the wife of the patriarch, Lu Ruyan's charm increased instead of decreasing, and she also had a unique charm. But I have already experienced it myself. Jiangning remained expressionless and looked at the young masters of other aristocratic families. Are you all here for Lu Ruyan? Many disciples of aristocratic families responded, yes, sir. We have admired the first beauty of Qingzhou, Lu Ruyan, for a long time. I have long heard of the name of the Demon Control Prison, and I know that once a prisoner enters, there is no opportunity to leave. Please allow us to go in and kiss the beautiful scenery, without asking adults to let Lu Ruyan go. When saying these words, numerous young masters of aristocratic families looked at each other with a smile, revealing a lewd expression that they understood. I have long heard that Lu Ruyan is incredibly beautiful and charming, but I have never had the chance. When Lu Ruyan was the wife of the leader of the Flying Immortal Sect, they dared not act recklessly. Now they have become prisoners, and they can't bear it anymore. Lord Prisoner, give Wang some face. After the matter was over, Wang also prepared a big gift for the warden. Wang Heng also smiled confidently at these words. In his opinion, even if Jiangning does not sell his face, he will definitely sell the face of the Wang family in many aristocratic families here. And as the Lord of the Demon Control Prison, I definitely have the right to let them in and have some fun. But Jiangning remained unmoved at all, giving them a faint glance and disdaining to turn around and leave. Afterwards, Wang Heng's face changed and he quickly shouted loudly. "Master prisoner, if you think our sincerity is not enough, you can still discuss it." Jiangning's body froze, his eyebrows slightly raised, and he walked back. But it wasn't because of Wang Heng's words, but just now, the sound system in his mind came on. Ding! Bribing court officials and triggering punishment missions. Chapter 10. Mrs. Wang. You don't want your son to have. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The triggering of system tasks surprised Jiangning. The corners of his mouth slightly curled up, and his gaze towards these aristocratic young masters softened a lot. See the situation. Wang Heng and many aristocratic sons breathed a sigh of relief. I saw before that the lord of the demon control prison was not moved, so there was no room for negotiation. But now it seems that there is a lack of sincerity in disdain. It doesn't matter if you have a big appetite. Just talk about it. The alchemist family is not lacking in heavenly and earthly treasures, and Wang Heng is confident that he can satisfy the other party with anything he wants. Immediately, Wang Heng took a step forward and smiled. Master prisoner, let's do it this way. My Wang family is willing to add another 10,000 spirit stones. The words fell. The prison guards around took a deep breath. 10,000 spirit stones. They worked as servants in the demon control prison for a lifetime and never earned 1,000 spirit stones. For them, 10,000 spirit stones are simply astronomical numbers. Replacing these spirit stones with resources is enough to stack an ordinary person in the divine bridge realm of the Wheel Sea secret realm. Of course, it's just the weakest divine bridge realm. Even the young masters of aristocratic families have slightly changed their faces. A Huanyuan Dan is only worth 15,000 spirit stones. Millennium spirit ginseng can be purchased with only 8,000 spirit stones. 10,000 spirit stones, even the aristocratic young masters present couldn't pull out so much at once. I used to hear that the Wang family had a generous wealth, but today I have really broadened my horizons. Yeah, Prince Wang Heng is really generous. I feel inferior to him. I admire it, I admire it. Accompanied by everyone's exclamation, Wang Heng had ordered his subordinates to bring up all the spirit stones. The gaze of everyone also became fiery. Wang Heng is about to continue speaking. Master prisoner, look. Jiangning remained calm and waved his hand to stop him. In the next moment, Jiangning's eyes became extremely cold, and a chill filled her voice. Bribing court officials, you are so bold. Anyone, take them all for me. Suddenly, everyone was confused, and the aristocratic young masters present, including Wang Heng, looked at Jiangning with incredible eyes. You can refuse bribes. What does it mean to directly catch us? Although the young masters of the aristocratic family have also witnessed grand scenes, this is the rumored demon control prison, where they are all scared to death and sweat profusely. Although the prison guards couldn't believe it, they were very wary of the aristocratic families behind these young masters. But the warden gave the order, they just need to arrest the person. As Jiangning's words fell, he immediately placed heavy restrictions on everyone, and countless black chains stretched out. Lu Jia. In the lobby, the head of the Lu family's eyes widened wide. What? Has Lu Ren been arrested and sent to the demon control prison? Excuse me, it's really troublesome. He doesn't know where the demon control prison is. I'm so angry. Yang family. Master. You need to find a way to save Ling Er. Jinma prison is a place where there is a chance of death. Ling Er has never eaten or cried since she was young. There is no way to live in it. The wife of the head of the Yang family cried bitterly and begged incessantly. The head of the Yang family also clenched his fists tightly, his face turning pale with iron. Madam, don't worry, I will contact several other aristocratic families now and definitely rescue Ling Er. Wang family. At this moment, the lobby is bustling with activity. There are two people sitting at the top, and the middle-aged person on the right with a majestic face is the head of the Wang family. On the left is a beautiful woman with delicate features, green eyebrows and red lips, a face like a silver plate, and eyes like apricots. Dressed in a purple shirt, with a plump figure, 1 point increase leads to fat, and 1 point decrease leads to thin, presenting a charming appearance. At this moment, several heads of aristocratic families were standing in front of them, each with a worried expression. Master Wang, do you have a solution? Your Wang family is a family of alchemists and has connections with the court. They must have more connections than us. Yes, Lord Wang, only you can save our child. Lord Yang, Lord Li, and Lord Lu all spoke up one after another. Upon hearing this, Mrs. Wang remained silent with a worried expression on her face. The reputation of the demon control prison is external, making it very difficult to extract people from inside. Don't worry, everyone. The head of the Wang family spoke softly. My child Wang Heng has also been arrested, and he feels equally uncomfortable, but this matter still needs to be discussed. Bribing court officials can be a big or small matter, and the demon control prison is the master's one word. Even if our Wang family has connections with the court, we cannot interfere. Combined with the case of the Flying Immortal Sect, which was personally reported by the Empress, it's really difficult to handle. There is also a possibility that we may be implicated in being accused of being a traitor and accomplice. I want to know who can bear it. Upon hearing this, many homeowners also sighed silently. I kept cursing in my heart, why bother provoking that demon warden? Is there really no other way? He is really capable of arresting people at will as the demon warden. Lord Lu suddenly spoke with a tone of unwillingness. At this moment, Mrs. Wang spoke up and looked at her husband, tightly holding his hand. Husband, why don't I have my concubine talk to that warden? Bribing officials can be a big or small matter, the warden doesn't have to kill our children. If it's really not possible, just bleed more and save the child's life. I am worried that if it continues to be delayed, Heng'er will not be able to withstand the punishment of the demon control prison. Hear the last sentence. Everyone's faces stiffened, and the thunder whip from the demon control prison was well known throughout the entire Xia dynasty, which they naturally had heard of. Silence is half loud. The head of the Wang family finally agreed and asked Mrs. Wang to represent numerous aristocratic families in negotiations with the lord of the demon control prison. At this moment, I am in the demon control prison. Jiangning looked at the several young masters in front of him who were howling, and his face was also not very good. The task has been triggered and the person has also taken it. But there's a problem with punishment. The lightning whip is about to kill the person, the system is not responding. The problem is, Jiangning is not as good as Long Yang. This made him increasingly restless in his heart. Someone. Prisoner Wang Heng, bribing officials, 20 thunder whips. The words fell. Wang Heng's expression immediately froze, and a cold sweat kept rising on his forehead. Even other aristocratic young masters were silenced, even their howls were kept to a minimum, afraid of provoking Jiangning again. They had just tasted the taste of thunder whips and quietly swallowed their saliva. At this point, a prison guard ran up and whispered a report next to Jiangning. Prisoner Lord, the wife of the Wang family has arrived and would like to meet you. Jiangning's eyes twitched slightly, nodding. Go, bring her over. Soon. Madame Wang was brought by the prison guard and immediately noticed Jiangning. She quickly approached and bowed. Lord prisoner. Before he could finish speaking, he was interrupted by a cry for help. I only heard Wang Heng shouting loudly in the direction of Mrs. Wang with his last bit of strength. Mom, save me. The latter was also shocked and immediately saw his son who was still suffering from the punishment of thunder whip. Heng'er. Jiangning is also looking at Mrs. Wang. As soon as the latter arrived, a semi-transparent system panel appeared on their head. Xia Mengxiang Identity. Mrs. Wang, the head of the Wang family realm. Third level of the Wheel C Secret Realm Rating. 96 Evaluation. Grace and Splendor. The lady of the elegant and luxurious family head is not only beautiful but also dignified, it's hard not to be tempted. Pretty and charming. I don't know how good my sister is when I was young, but I'm a teenager. Do you really not want to try it? Lady of the Master. The wife of the alchemist family, even among many ladies, can be considered a peerless beauty in the world.